Alright guys, this is Justin again. I got a request to show a little bit more advanced ways of driving a stick shift. Now I did the very basics, so if you're watching this and you haven't watched that yet, I urge you to watch that first, because at this point you won't understand this until you watch that, if you're new to stick shift driving. I'm going to cover some of the, intermediates, I guess you could say, that some of the beginners might be running into issues of, and kind of get into the fun aspects of driving a stick shift. So first off, I guess I can shut the car off here. I got a request, and they wanted me to show what beginners do as far as issues they run into or mistakes they make while driving a stick shift. Now, if I can get this darn thing to tilt, figure it out. Anyway, alright, we'll just pass that, because the pedals are kind of hard to see. Let's see if the camera can adjust. No, they're not that bad. Alright, shift here. There we go. You got your gas, your brake, your clutch. Now, one of the problems that beginners will begin running into as they learn to shift the car, I went through that in video 1, they're going to ride the clutch. Now I want to focus a little bit on that here for a few minutes. Riding a clutch entails sometimes they'll shift and they won't let off the clutch, or even if they rest their foot on it, you're disengaging the clutch a little bit. Now you're riding on it, see, you're just letting your foot rest there, or you're not real comfortable with letting it go because you let it go too soon, and it lurches pretty bad. The car hiccups, it starts jerking really bad, you start burning rubber kinds of things, so, you're a little antsy about that, and that's understandable, but you want to make sure you let your foot all the way off, because what's going on is, I mentioned before, there's two plates that you're trying to match up. Now the transmission's plates control through all the gears, which you're shifting, and that's pretty cool. There's videos out there on how that works, but essentially you're matching those two plates up. Well, there's grooves in those plates to allow them to lock up, and when they're trying to lock up, if you let off too soon, like I said, it hits those plates together, they slam together, it jerks the crap out of your transmission, you burn rubber and you take off. Cool effect if you have a transmission built for it. But a normal sedan, and I actually didn't take a Challenger out this time, I took one of the cars we have on the used lot here, it's a Nissan, and a stick shift, 6-speed. So I thought it would do the justice here. We can, go through everything that way. But anyway, it doesn't have the transmission to do all that hot rod and driving. It'll take it for 60, 80, 90,000 miles, but you get up to 200,000 miles, and you're definitely on your second transmission if you're driving that route. So you want to be careful not to slam it too early. But even more so, and even more devastating in the long run, because you're going to go through more parts, is you don't want to ride the clutch either. What you're doing is when you're riding that, you're disengaging the clutch just enough that it's still hooking up, but just barely. Now all those ridges that allow them to connect, those two plates, those ridges are rubbing off and wearing off. When you ride the clutch like that, when you leave your foot on it, you're just driving, not even realizing it. You're just resting your foot against it, you're riding the clutch. If you're not comfortable into shifting it into gear right away, you're riding the clutch. If you're afraid that it's going to jerk when you shift and you kind of let your foot linger there for an extra couple seconds, that's riding the clutch. You got to be careful not to do that, because you will wear out the parts, and you want to be careful. Now, as I sneak back down here, now riding the clutch, let's see, I just shifted. So I'm going down the road, let off the gas, shift it into gear. Now, that would have been riding the clutch, because I left my foot on the pedal. Perfect seamless shifting, and we'll actually get into that. You can actually shift without using clutch. We'll get into that today, too. But you're driving, you want to shift, and then let off, and go. And that's what you're doing. That's right, and that's a perfect shift. Now, most folks, and I do it sometimes too, we'll shift, or we'll be going, we'll shift into gear, and we'll kind of let off, and then put back on the gas and keep going. Now, granted, it's a lot smoother to shift while you're riding the clutch a little bit, and that's okay if you're not used to, if you're not used to the vehicle you're driving, and for the first couple weeks while you're getting used to it, perfectly fine. You're not going to ruin anything. And it does allow, when you ride the clutch, for the shifts to be smoother. But you really got to understand where the threshold is for your transmission, because you got to stop doing that shortly after you learn to shift, and you get comfortable with it, because you don't want to wear out those parts. So it's critical that you take your foot off the clutch as soon as you can without jerking the transmission. So when you start doing that, you'll understand. Now this is going to be tricky. I don't know, I picked a back road, so I want to show you guys how. Now that you know to take your foot off the clutch as soon as possible, how to shift without actually using the clutch. That's pretty cool too. So as you practice, learning to shift and everything, you'll find that when you're going around most corners at stop signs and stuff, you keep it in second gear rather than hopping it down to first. Stop the lurch and stuff. When you keep it in second gear, it allows for a smoother turn and everything. So that's what you want to do. And let's see, there's a van staring at me. Okay, there she goes. Anyway, but when you're actually shifting, when you're going down the road, it's pretty cool. I'm going to show you that here. So let me fire up the car. I'm going to try doing this driving and shifting. Now we'll start it up. Now this is I don't know if you can see it there, 6-speed with reverse. Bloop, I don't know, shadows kind of in there. Anyway, alright. So at this point, you all know how to shift. So we'll put it in the first gear. We'll start taking off down the road. See, now right now I'm riding the clutch because I'm coming up, now I'm off the clutch. So we stop. And when you come to a stop, you can, as long as you're depressing the clutch all the way, you're not riding on it, you're depressing it. It's completely off that engine plate. You're fine. And I do that to stop sometimes too. So let's go here. And give it gas and you start going. Yeah, we have to drive. Now, see, it's getting ready to shift. So put it down in a second. And I start going. Now, if I can match the engine speed, now watch this. I won't use the clutch. Let's see if I can. It's in neutral. Now it's in third. I just shifted without using clutch, and I'll explain how I did that in a minute. Now, let's see if I can put it in fourth. I pull straight down, it's in neutral. There, it's in fourth. Alright, see? Fourth gear, well, you can't really tell. Alright, now without using the clutch, let's see if I can shift. Maybe you can get some engine noise if I can concentrate down there. I'll keep my foot off. Now let's see if we can get it up into fifth. So, we're in fourth, going to neutral. We'll get up in, there, we're in fifth. Alright, now to slow down, now this is the trick. Now, in neutral, going to fourth, so you gotta give it a lot of gas. There, now I'm in fourth. Now to shift down into third, you gotta give it a lot of gas. Put it in neutral, give it gas. And there, I'm in third. So what I'm doing is matching the engine RPMs to the transmission plate as I'm shifting the gears. The gears control the transmission plate. My foot controls the engine plate. So you're trying to match, maybe you can hear me better this way, you're trying to match the transmission with the engine plate. And it's so beautiful sometimes because if you can control the engine RPM speed, and when you throw it into a different gear, if you know roughly what RPMs that plate's spinning now at that different gear, you can match them up without ever using the clutch. So as we're going down here, let me see if I can shift it down even higher. We'll put it in neutral. Let's see, give it a bunch of gas. Now if you watch, we'll see if we can't. There, that was second gear. Second gear is at 2,000 RPMs. Now let's see what first gear is. Neutral. Okay, first gear is in 3,000 RPMs. See, so you just got to figure it out. But see, as I go here, when I watch this, no clutch. There, second gear. Accelerate. No clutch. There, third gear. See, you can see the tachometer there stopping when you hit the right gear. Now we gotta stop, so stop sign's coming up. Give it gas. Second gear. Let it slow down. Put it in neutral. Give it gas. And there, we're in first gear. So what I just did was clutchless shifting. Let me pull over here, and I'll explain everything a little bit better. So let me do that. Alright, leave the car running. Cool. Alright, so what I did, let me see. Hey, that works out perfect. Alright, so you have your engine clutch, and or your engine plate, and it's spinning, and my foot, giving it gas, controls how fast that spins. Now, the gears, whenever you shift it into a new gear, it, you know, your 1, 2, first, second gear, whatever, that changes the plate speed. So let's say I shift it into first, this one's spinning, this one's slow, I give it gas, match them up until they're like this, and they'll slam together perfectly. You can do that without using the clutch. Now, what the clutch does is it takes the plates off and put it back on. That's your disengaging the plate. Now, when you put it in neutral, it takes it off automatically. So every time you shift, you put it in neutral. And what you're doing is when you disengage the clutch, you're putting in gear so it spins at the right, and then you put it back together. So if you can do that without using clutch, you're putting in neutral, then matching the speed, and then when you shift it down to gear, it hits, it works without using clutch. The clutch isn't there to help you match the speed. So it's a little more advanced driving. Now, I know couple of friends of mine, they race, and I know some race folks, MIS, you know, we go out there a few times. Now, they actually drive without using the clutch, and if they do use the clutch, they just tap it. They don't even push it all the way. They kind of do the riding thing, but they just smack it just enough to get the plate spinning just perfect, and, you know, slam it together. When you're racing and you don't have time to depress, you got to be on the gas. That's one way to go. Now, when as far as health-wise to your engine, you know, engine braking, what I was doing there, transferring down. That's another thing, engine braking. Shifting down the gears without using the brake, using the transmission, you're slowing down the engine, and you're keeping momentum going. It's actually more fuel efficient, and it's better upkeep on your engine. It's healthier for your engine. So if you can engine brake, good. Semi-trucks, they do that all the time. You hear that, rah, 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 rah. That's the Jake brake they used to call it. That's engine braking using the exhaust. They're shifting down the gears. So, well, there's that. This video is cutting out here pretty soon. Yeah, I'm already over my limit. So again, this is Justin. Look me up, Team Hillsdale. See if you can't figure out how to shift without using the clutch. You know, just match the RPMs, shift it into gear, and find that gear. Keep trying to slam it home. If you're trying to get in a fourth, keep pushing it in fourth until it'll sink in when you hit the right RPMs, and memorize those RPMs. Your driving experience will be a lot more fun. Don't ride the clutch. Again, Justin, Team Hillsdale Chrysler. Look me up. All right, thanks, folks. By the way, if you have any questions on anything, go ahead and answer. You know what? Send me an email. Send me a comment on my video. I would be glad to answer any questions you might have, anything at all. I'd be happy to help. So good luck in your driving experience, and hopefully I will talk to you guys soon. Hope this helped. All right, thanks.